I'm
Hello everyone and welcome. This is the Silent K and today we're going to be playing some MegaMek. We are not playing Mech HQ as per normal. We are instead doing a versus match with Gribbly. If you'd like to say hello, Gribbly.
hello.
Alright. We are doing heavy versus lights today. We've got my heavy team, which is 3 mechs comprising 6,000 points, and we've got Gribbly playing the Sacred Dreams. Is that 3 Omicron is how that's pronounced? Of the Word of Blake,
Yeah.
3rd Division. So obviously I outmass him by, it looks like about 10%, and it also looks like I've got about 65 BV over him. We will see how that goes. I can see in the lobby I'm fighting against 6 light mechs, 8 infantry, and 2 light vehicles, which I assume are both armored personnel carriers. You may notice that one of my mechs is also a light. I picked one specifically for anti-infantry purposes, and also because with the 2 assaults that I had, 6,000 points didn't leave enough for a 3rd assault. So, I've got my camo picked out. I'm doing the Tiger Stripe that was available in 48. This is the Burning Tigers camo, which I'm particularly fond of. It's not the one I'm using in 49.2, because it's not available in 49.2. They changed it, which I'm cool with. And I actually have one that I like even more in 49.2. It's black and yellow, but more straight line stripey, less tiger stripey. So I think, do we already have the map set up and the options?
Yeah, I saved the config for the map. I don't know if you want to do a quick view.
Yeah. So we have, I think the setting is for a high probability of a river, and we've got a fair amount of elevation, and we did roll all of this randomly on the chart. The weather conditions, I believe we were running just clear weather conditions, right?
Light gale, I think.
Yeah, we had moderate gale, no fog, clear precipitation, daylight, 30 degrees. Do you prefer Celsius or centigrade? What's the difference, honestly? I don't know.
Celsius is a centigrade scale. Centigrade just means up to 100 degrees, using 100 degrees as, yeah, the same thing.
So they're literally interchangeable. That's what I thought. I just wasn't sure, and I didn't want to look like a fool. All right. So I am done and ready. Oh wait, do we have? Oh, we're both deploying any. Do you want to do north and south?
I'm gonna have I'm gonna have possibly between 0 and 10 hidden units. Pretend you didn't hear me say 4. Yeah, I'm gonna have some hidden units. So I'm gonna, if you want to deploy either north or south, then I'll deploy the other side. But the hidden units I'll put somewhere.
I tell you what. We'll use the honor system. You can leave your deployment any, so you can have your hidden units wherever, because you're playing defensive with the infantry and everything. I've got my deployment set for the south, and then we're playing the same objectives as always. Pick a hex and defend it.
Yep.
Sounds good. All right, I am ready to roll. Now we're going to pick the objectives before we start deploying, right?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So I have won the initiative for deployment, which means that you must deploy first.
Looks like it didn't accept the wind strength change. I found that earlier when I tested it.
Oh. Do we need to back out and try again?
We can do that if you want.
Um.
You've got your units saved as a...
Yeah, but if I have to reconnect to a server, that's going to display your IP address.
No, it's alright. I can just do a reset. Hang on a sec.
Oh, okay. Is that going to be in the chat box? Oh, no. It's Just that simple. All right, so let me load versus Gribbly, big versus little.mul. All right, so we've got Little Joe and the King Hippo, we've got Enfield Garand and the Gunner, and we've got Charlie McGee and the Firestarter, all names that I thought were appropriate.
Okay.
All right, I will change my deployment back down to south, and I think that should be everything. Anyway. And I have to be honest, I'm actually a little bit relieved that you're handling all of the behind the scenes kind of stuff, because I would be scrambling trying to do this live and on screen with the whole world watching.
Yeah. I was fiddling with it the other day, and I saved it. I saved the map settings. It's actually 100. It should be 100% chance of getting a river.
Oh.
I found there was a little. I think you stick that in, and I think, although we actually did roll moderate gale, I think we negotiated reducing that to a light gale and then increasing woods from 0 to.
Yeah, we rolled no woods and we negotiated up to light woods so that we'd have some cover. We went from rolling low lakes to 0 lakes, low rivers to maximum rivers, and from moderate gale to light gale were what we discussed.
Yeah. Okay, I'm click done. So I think.
Oh, I guess I was previewing the map and it unclicked my done. So yeah, ready to roll. Wow, I saw a lot of brown on that map. All right, so this time around you have won the initiative. So I will be deploying first. I'll be deploying at the south end. So what exactly are we looking at here? We do have a river. It's up here, very much like the sample that I was looking at. It's up here just kind of cutting off half of one of your corners. So we're not actually going to have to cross that to get to each other. I'm thinking with my big slow heavy mechs, I kind of want to put something a little closer to the middle so that I can maybe get a little evasion as I'm going to that spot. I am going to pick, it looks like 0637. Alright, Fighting Bulldog's objective is in a heavy woods. They're on the left lower side of the map. Yeah, you can see that pretty clearly even when you're zoomed out to max, or at least I can.
Let me just decide where mine's going to go. Yeah, I placed one.
Okay, let me see if I can spot that real quick. Yes, I see it in these light woods over here in 3710 on your side of the river. Interesting. Okay, well, that gives me kind of an interesting choice. I could leave both of my heavies at my objective to defend it and send my light out to grab yours, or I could split my forces differently. But as far as deployment goes, and
I think we have simultaneous deployment. Shall I just start to deploy?
Yeah, if it's available to you, you can go ahead and do that. I'm weighing my options here for the time being. God, this map is huge. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put him there. And what do we got over here? let's see, is this, how high is this cliff? Oh, that is a 3 elevation cliff, but there's breaks in it. I mean, it's gonna take him forever to get there. And then, let's see, kind of just in that break there. Where is that? That is here. All right. So I've got a defensive force and an offensive force, as I always do. This is a 10-hour stream, right? Varank asks. Hopefully not, but with my guys, both of my heavies being 3-5 movement profiles, it might just be that long before I'm able to cap an objective. So we have lost initiative for round 1. Let me go ahead, and I know what he's doing. Oh, I already have eyes on a couple of blips. What have we got here? We've got 2 amphibious APCs, and I'm guessing they're both fully loaded with Word of Blake infantry.
That's entirely possible.
Okay, and then one thing I can do that not every assault can do. I just realized both of my assault mechs are capable of arm flips. That was not by intention. It just kind of happened. And it also occurs to me that you're moving like 5 mechs for every one that I have to move. And then this guy, how about no, Scott, sorry. Not all about that either. Yeah, I think I like that for now. Just keeping as close an eye as I possibly can on these 2 APCs. What kind of movement profile do these guys have again? It looks like 6'9", so they're relatively quick. Not especially so for light vehicles, but alright. Piloting skill.
For APCs. I mean, it was one of the things. There are lots and lots of good APCs and IFBs, but there aren't that many cheap ones. I wanted, when I was looking at the design, I wanted them to be at least 6'9", because I thought that was you don't want them to be too super fast, because then you're paying lots of BB for them unnecessarily.
Yeah, nothing is going to be even remotely within range here. Just for the audience at home, this is where we are now, that's where we started, and that's how far we can reach, and that is how far away the bad guys are. But the fact that...
What are like bad guys?
Well, since when were they the good guys? So, and we're looking at pretty much the same thing over here with this guy, so. Alright. And it looks like we've won the dice off for round 2. bother. I just realized I still forgot to add the quirks that I was gonna add for these guys.
But you should have them. You should have them. I fixed that, I think.
Maybe when we reset and I reloaded my MUL? Ooh. Because I'm not showing it on my info screen. It's gonna be kind of awkward if you kick my King Hippo and your side of the client wants to apply a stable bonus and my side doesn't. I guess
I'm just looking at the gunner now, it doesn't have the quotes. I think that's...
Maybe when you reset the server?
No, because when I loaded the mechs in earlier, I saved the quirks for the specific chassis and model. So obviously we need to have both. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we've got the defensive pilot,
Yes, that is another thing that we should make clear for the audience at home. Looking at chat, Varank says Wobbies are always the bad guys.
Slander.
I'm sorry?
I was saying that's slander. His dissent has been noted. Blake is displeased.
But as I was saying, for the folks at home, we are playing with a set of modifiers that we don't normally play with, and that is the weight class defensive modifiers and physical attack modifiers. So basically, those modifiers are going to make it easier for light mechs to hit with physical attacks, but it will make it easier for heavy mechs to pass piloting skill checks. So kind of felt like that was roughly a fair trade-off. I feel like I'm getting the better end of that bargain, but that is what we agreed to, and I'm fine with playing like that. At the very least, we can try it out and have fun and see how it goes. We were talking about setting it back to normal for the next time we played, but I guess time will tell. And I have no targets whatsoever. Alright, nobody's building up any heat, although that fire starter is trying to. Alright, we have lost initiative on turn 3, so a little game of tennis here with the initiative taking turns on that. Alright, I think I want to keep this up so I can see what's going on a little better.
I will point out that the Word Blake 3rd Division, how could they be bad guys when the nickname for the 3rd Division is Pure Thoughts and Actions? They're clearly good guys.
Pure Thoughts and Actions is the
Yes.
nickname of the unit that you're playing as?
Well, no, the 3rd Division. I mean, this is a subset of this is like a level 3, a division to level 4. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Pure Thoughts and Actions. Well, I mean, I've heard the term purify being thrown around by some people that I wouldn't consider good guys.
That's because you're impure.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Lark says he's rooting for Silent. Varank says good intentions and all that. Appreciate it, guys. I mean, I'm just happy to be playing one way or the other. Winning would be icing on the cake, but my enjoyment of the game does not hinge upon it. Like in some other games, there are other games where I don't feel like I have as good a time if I'm not winning. This is not one of them. This game, I'm perfectly happy losing. Not that I'm trying to lose or anything like that, but just that I don't get emotionally invested in it as much. Oh, we have a mech over here. We have 2 mechs. That is a Mercury and a Wasp, both Canon designs. We've got a Mercury with Mask, letting him move up to 16 movement. And we've got a Wasp with a light PPC and an MML3. That is significantly more bite than the 3025 Wasp has.
little bit of extra range as well.
Yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Comstar had that level of technology during the Succession Wars when everyone else had bombed themselves back into low tech, right?
I mean, the light PPC and the MML, they're both. I can't remember when they're like they came back in maybe the 3060s or 3070s or whatever. So, Comstar had all the Starlink stuff, which was somewhat limited. Like most of the pulse lasers, ER large lasers, Gauss rifles, LB10s.
Okay, but not
Streak
like
2s, you know.
Okay, so you're
And then for it was like the Free Worlds League developed the Ultra AC-10, I think, and the Davians developed the Ultra AC-20 and the Ultra AC-2 and the Rotary AC-5. It was like a gradual shift.
okay.
But yeah, they had XL engines, Endosteel, double heat sinks, all the stuff that matters,
Okay, but you are playing with tech that is even more advanced than like Starlink had. So,
Yeah.
my guys are all running pretty much, aside from the plasma cannons that I put into the gunner, everything is standard level. So, double heat sinks are the standard when I play, but everything else is, LB10s, things like that. Honestly, a lot of it is level 1. It's mainly the double heat sink and the LB10s that are my higher tech things. Right. So, blocked by terrain, blocked by terrain, blocked by terrain. So, I know that at least 3 of your guys can see at least one of my guys, and it looks like 2 of your guys have eyes on me here, but not quite in range. So we're gonna skip there, and then what can he see? Okay, and it looks like your Wasp has eyes on my fire starter. Okay, so might be worthwhile to kind of do one of those. Kind of reconfigure my my movement. What's the saying? The plan is the first casualty in any conflict. Might have to.
Yeah, no plan survives contact with the enemy. Attributed to various people, probably pretty much all commanders.
So I'm wondering if maybe I should scoop up this way. Because, right now it's a Mercury, a Wasp, and 2 APCs. I kind of feel like my gunner and my fire starter can handle that. Now, I may be wrong. There's probably a whole bunch more Wobbies hiding over that hill where I can't quite see them.
Wobbies is so derogatory.
Yeah, that's a shame, isn't it? Alright, I shall refrain from here on from using
I'm joking, I'm being silly, don't worry about it. I'm being silly.
Well, yeah, but still, it's not in my nature to make it a habit to say things that could be construed by the wrong people as being offensive.
I don't. Given that I'm not a member, despite the accent, I'm not actually a member of the Word of Blake, so you don't need to worry about that.
Alright, so the Mercury seems to have disappeared from view. But I wonder if maybe I could catch up to him again. How high is this cliff? That's a -3 to -2. So if you were there, I'd be able to see you.
Oh, I turned off the option for leaping because I thought I did some testing with that and it's really obnoxious.
How so? I understand there's a PSR, and if you fail it, you take falling damage. But other than that,
there's 2 PSRs. There's one PSR which is easy-ish, which determines whether or not you take some internal damage to the leg.
Oh.
And then there's another PSR, which is more difficult, which determines if you fall over. It's horrendous.
So there's a good chance you'll fall down, and a slight chance that you'll damage the internals of your legs as well.
Yeah, a good chance you'll do both. I mean, it's like, yeah.
I would still honestly kind of rather leave it on in the future, and my idea behind that is that it's not something that you have to do, it's an option. Because with that turned off, the only way you can go down a level 3 cliff is with jump jets. If you don't have jump jets, you can't get down a level 3 cliff.
Yeah.
Whereas,
if you jump off a level 3 cliff, mech is done. So I think this is one of these things where the jump, like if it's a level 3 cliff, then that's not, you're not gonna, you wouldn't otherwise expect to be able to get up and down. It was just something, the reason why I originally suggested it was because on a couple of the sample maps I looked at, the river was actually
cross
like
map
2 levels below the ground. So it's like, it was impossible for anyone to get into the water or cross or anything like that. But, that's not an issue with it.
right, and I just feel like it's an option that I would rather have than not have. If the only other thing I would be able to do is stand at the top of the cliff and shoot down, it just to me makes sense that you would naturally be able, at great risk and penalty, it would be theoretically possible for you to get down that cliff just with the help of gravity.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Alright, so
I think it's one of those things that it's probably somewhat of a bad idea to leave it turned on if you're playing against Princess. Because what I've heard is that Princess loves leaping.
Oh yeah, I can
So
see
if
that
you play
being a
against
problem
Princess,
for sure.
You'll come across some mechs, they'll be lying in a crumpled heap at the bottom of cliffs, bottom of buildings. It just gets very sad very quickly.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where I doubt Princess's understanding of all of the options available to her. I was playing a match against Princess. Princess was my ally in this match, and she had a spider that kept trying to kick on 9s with a 4-6 pilot, and kept falling down until eventually it just literally killed itself just trying to kick enemies. And I'm like, you're not that good of a pilot. Why are you doing this? I see you have disembarked some infantry. Alright, does anybody have... Does not look like... Yes, blocked by terrain. Okay, so... That was weird. My user interface just showed me that I was still selected on someone that shouldn't be selectable because I had just hit done, and I was like... It just threw me for a second. Alright, so we're not in range of the infantry, or really the only enemy that we have eyes on right now. So that's one more turn of not shooting.
I was really hoping for the river to be across the middle of the map.
Yeah, I feel like that would have made it really interesting as well. And when I saw on the preview map, it looked almost exactly like this map, and I was like, well, that is a possibility, but hopefully we've used up all of our bad luck on this one. And it looks like we have won the initiative on round 5. So we have infantry and then their hills. Yes. So now I think I would like to start over here because this guy's movement I feel like is a little bit less indeterminate. Like I feel like I know how he's going to move regardless of anything else, whereas these guys are going to be more reactionary. So we'll go ahead and move that there, out into the open. I was thinking about putting him in that heavy woods that I landed next to, but then I was like, well, even if he does get a shot, you know, he wouldn't be able to see anything. Alright, and we've got eyes on, it looks like a mech. Which one is that? That is the Wasp again. I might have to do something about him. And again, that is... Yeah,
it's a poor lonely bug mech. It's fine. Leave them alone.
It's a poor lonely bug mech with a 696 movement profile and a light PPC. And I know a light PPC is a much less of a threat than a full-size PPC, but that's got some range and some bite, and he's got some MMLs besides. Alright, so your infantry have moved into these woods. Feels like a perfect target for some plasma fire. Only trouble is my plasma mech is halfway across the map. So let me see. If I go here, that does not give me line of sight on anyone. How about here? Not so much. How about here? Where would I have to go? There. And that would give me 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's... We don't play with extreme range, do we? On your server?
No. I've only ever really...
Okay, well then I'm not trying to get eyes on your infantry from out of range. Oh, I just spotted a whole bunch of dudes. That is a little worrisome. This is... Okay, that's not too terrible. That's not too terrible. Okay, so... and these guys are all... Let me just look at what I've spotted here real quick.
Roger, yep.
Okay, yeah. These guys are all... Yeah, I think it might be time for a slight change of plans.
We're just chilling here behind the hill. Don't worry about it. It's all fine.
Yeah, the only problem is that your guys are faster than my ability to get out of the line of fire. And they have better range, I'm betting. Oh.
It's a bit of a mix. A couple of them might do, I think. But I think you put the Firesider's got decent... Has it got like 2 or 3 medium lasers and machine guns and flamers?
This variant of the Firestarter trades one of the flamers for a medium laser. So it has 3 medium lasers and 2 flamers and 2 machine guns. So it's really good.
Firepower, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's really good within 3 hexes, and even better at 1 hex with the flamers and the machine guns. But I'm looking at ER mediums over here, and yeah, mostly it's the ER mediums and the light PPCs, and the fact that your guys are all faster than me that I'm worried about. So, like, it's within your best interest to stay out of range of my medium lasers, and you're very capable of doing that. Either that, or you could just close and crush me with numbers.
Well, the problem is that with the numbers disparity, even if you lose initiative, I've got to move a bunch of them first. So it's kind of awkward.
Oh, Lark has a comment. He says, the thing about MegaMek AI is that it does read all the options and rules as to what it can do, but it never thinks about what it should do, as long as it thinks that it has even a slight chance to do it. It takes dumb options over no options. I've seen the AI jump down 40 level heights, because it prioritizes that over staying still. Well, that's what I'm saying, is that Princess, she takes dumb risks when she doesn't need to, when she'd be better off not. When it's not a zero-sum game. Like, if you're trying to kick someone, there is a chance that you'll roll Snake Eyes twice, no matter what your stats are, basically. And as long as you're not kicking on a 2 or up, on a 2 up, there's, a chance you're going to fall. And so it doesn't always make sense to make the attempt. Sometimes you're genuinely better served by not exercising the option that you have, and she doesn't seem to understand that. Like,
I think Princess always goes for, she will move to a hex which is covered by the least potential possible damage based on hit values.
Yeah, and that makes sense. That's how I kind of play
also,
too.
Yeah.
And also,
but only for that round. Like, she doesn't think about the next round.
Yeah, that is a good point. She does seem pretty short-sighted sometimes. But with the kicking thing, why would you take a 1 in 4 chance to deal some damage if you're risking a 1 in 3 chance of taking damage yourself, if you could not do that? I mean, I guess because potentially you're doing 6 points of damage on a kick, but taking 3 points of damage on a fall in the case of the spider. But that is, I don't know, it still just, to me, does not seem like the ideal odds to be trying to pull that with. Alright, so let's see how much trouble my little fire starter is in over here. Now that I've sunk my initiative as most as I can. Well, I guess not as most as I can. I've still got one more guy who's not really too concerned about what you're doing. I'm just tripping out over the 40 level drop. Like, you're gonna take damage from that. It's not quite in the fight yet, but it's closer. Oh, yeah, there we go. 2 SRMs, 2 flamers, and MER medium. Rank says, no, I'm going to try and get Princess to do that. I haven't seen it yet, though. I've seen her make some really dumb choices, like trying to land PSRs that were just like 11 up, and it's just not generally there. She definitely makes some choices that I would consider foolish, but for all that, I mean, if you've got no one else to play with, it is better than nothing. She's got character and personality.
Yes. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, if the game is remotely playable with an AI, then the AI is good.
Yeah.
If it comes even vaguely close to a human being, like for me, I mean personally, I much prefer playing against a human because it's like playing tennis or golf or chess or
Oh, I just noticed. I know how I normally have the 5 hex thing going on, but I hadn't noticed a difference in the color of the hexes every 5 increments. But I do see one at 10. Is that Is that my monitor being weird, or do you have an option for that?
That's client-based, so that'll be for you.
Oh.
So I don't know.
I must have turned down my visibility real quick. Let me turn that back up.
Although the previous game, I think that you played on the stream, you actually had reduced visibility anyway.
Yeah, let me try bumping this up. Maybe bump that down a scotch and try that. Let me try one more just to... let's try maybe about 50. Okay, yeah, now I can see that a little more clearly. That works. All right. Yeah, I was confused earlier when I was trying to count hexes, and I was like, "Where's my 5-hex marker?" I couldn't find it. But I guess it was just my client settings were a bit off. All right, you're not gonna have any targets at all because you can't see anything from where you're at. Now the gunner, on the other hand, has not managed to lure anyone into range yet. And the fire starter, having pulled back, does not have anyone within 9 hexes either, so... Lark says, or a rousing game of Go. That... I understand there is a lot of strategy to that game. I tried learning it once. I understand the rules, but there is so much more to Go. There are, I understand that, accepted strategies and formations that are generally considered ideal, that have known uses and counters, but other than that, honestly, it is kind of beyond me. Like, I hadn't played enough to get really good.
Yeah, this is one of the things, it's like a pet peeve or like soapbox thing. It's like games like chess and Go, then there's no strategy. They're not strategy games, they're described as such. They're purely tactical. Simply because strategy means something different. But anyway, that is something for an entirely different conversation.
You're arguing that chess is tactical, where Go is strategic, more
no,
grand
neither. There's no strategy in either of them because it's entirely predictable. There's no, strategy does not occur at the lowest possible granular level of activity. Strategy is more about just like identifying goals and prioritizing goals. The goal in chess is to win. The goal in Go is just to win. There's no like, well, we can play 5 games of Go, and if I draw these, then I get a extra Go, an extra, or like if I manage to beat you in a couple of games of chess, I get an extra queen in the next one, or there's not enough friction.
I see the point you're making, and it's honestly one that I haven't really considered before, is the difference in the definition between tactical and strategy. Lark also adds, you want complicated, go check out Japanese chess, where the board can be scaled infinitely. So I would say arguably you could have a more strategic game of Japanese chess. I'm not familiar with it, but if you can just like keep zooming the board out, then it would be possible to have a Pyrrhic victory in one part of the map that affects your performance in another part of the map.
Yeah, I mean, it's more the fact that, like, chess strategy is more why you're playing the game. Chess strategy would be, do I put money on it? Or, why am I playing the game? And also,
what are the grander stakes? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, this game here is entirely tactical. The strategy element would be, do I hire a friend of mine to go around Silent K's house in the middle of last night with his dogs to bark all night so you don't get to sleep, so that you're tired when you're playing this? That's a strategic decision. So it's not on the board here. But if you were super tired now because of the dogs barking, it's like strategy doesn't take place at the point of contact of what it is that you're talking about.
I see. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not used, I guess, to thinking in those terms, but that's on me, I guess. Lark adds, it also has a pretty wicked promotion system and several piece differences from European chess. I thought I had heard of Japanese chess before, but apparently I was mistaken because that actually does not sound at all familiar. Varank says, I think Mech HQ has strategy, and that I would definitely agree with. Because
that's absolutely, I think that's the point. Like, Battletech strategy is nothing that we're doing here. It's all, do I promote this pilot, or this pilot's pregnant, so do I allow her to fight or not? Where do I spend the XP? Those are all strategic decisions that want nothing to do with what's happening here. That's a perfect example. It's like anything where you're choosing the forces that you have, you're choosing the goals, like which contracts do you accept, how much money do you accept. Those are the decisions which determine what you've got available to you in a tactical situation. Yeah, it's interesting.
And I think perhaps my fire starter, well, he's not going to disappear. You're still, I think this might be a move I want to make. I want to bring this back up. Oh, is that so? I saw your Mercury, and so I went over to try to potentially engage him, and I found a Locust.
If you want to have a laugh, have a look at how far the Locust can move.
Yeah, I did. That's 28. Yeah, I saw that when I first spotted him, and I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, is that a 900 point light mech or something? I can't remember.
Which one, the Locust?
It's worth it for comedy value.
That is 956.
Yeah.
Whereas somehow my Firestarter is actually 850. So
I really like Locusts. I mean, they usually, for their size, they're reasonably well armored, which I guess is not really saying much, but they're mobile, they usually have good fire. I mean, there are some obvious exceptions. Some of the variants are just, they've got no armor, but
I have actually learned to hate Clan Locusts here recently. 8 ER small lasers that all do 5 damage.
Yeah, that's obnoxious. Yeah, they're absolutely disgusting. Quite frightening. Yeah.
40 damage from a 25-ton mech in your rear arc. Yeah, I lost a couple of mechs before I learned to respect that. And also, hi, how's it going? Says the King Hippo. Did you know he was there, or is this a surprise?
No, I was looking for him.
Oh, well, you found him.
I have. My exceptionally talented scouting skills have, yeah.
It's funny that the only reason I knew that you were there was because my Firestarter spotted you.
Which is perfect scouting. That's brilliant. Yeah.
And that was actually kind of why I had deployed the Firestarter in the middle, was to keep an eye on like everything that was going on in midfield. Because I knew the other guys, like if either one of them runs into trouble, they're going to be by themselves, whereas the Firestarter would have enough mobility to help one side or the other, depending on who needed it most. And so we've got 8s with our large lasers. We're going to take the first shots of the game with this guy. Let's see, the gunner, however, let's go ahead and twist him over and see if we've got any kind of shots. We've got 13s there, we've got 11s and 11s. We could maybe make that 10s. How much armor has this guy got? More than it would be worth using shotgun ammo on. Oh, right. I've got this guy over here on 15s. Yeah, nothing doing. So one thing about the plasma rifle that I'm not in love with is the limited ammo.
Yeah.
I kind of want to hold on to those shots for when I'm a little closer to your infantry. But on the other
It's a
hand,
fantastic spring weapon, honestly. When you see the difference, yeah, when you see what it does to infantry and battle armor and also to mechs, like it's not a Gauss rifle, it's not a PPC, it's not but you can effectively engage all targets with it, and it's even really disgusting against aerospace fighters because they don't like heat at all.
yeah.
So yeah.
I'm just debating right now whether or not it's worth firing on 11s when I've only got 15 rounds per rifle. And I think I'm gonna.
This game will be over in 6 or 8 turns. It's not gonna be a 10-turn.
You think?
Oh no, I suppose we're in round 7 already. But yeah, I mean it's.
Well, I mean rounds of combat, not rounds of the game.
Yeah.
All right. So your Mercury landed a medium laser on my King Hippo's right arm. Your Stinger missed. King Hippo returns with a large laser to your right leg, getting potentially a crit, but rolling a 5. The Mongoose missing my fire starter on 11s and 10s. Why are the Mongoose's medium lasers not all have the same target number? Is one of them like stabilized or something?
That is a great question.
I'll bet you've got one of them is a stabilized weapon.
So that looks like the Sense Torso one. It probably has a quirk. That rings a bell because I remember the Mongoose is an old Star League mech, right?
Yeah.
I remember in a Star League campaign, I customized a mech to have a tag that didn't have tag, and the tag and it was accurate for some reason. That may have been a Mongoose. I like the Mongoose. I can't remember why.
I mean, because it's fast as hell and it's got a bunch of medium lasers. Obviously.
Yes, I mean it's a decent, it's a solid, reliable kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the Mongoose. I don't have any that I've been using lately. But the only other mech I can think of with a stabilized weapon is I used to have the Crusader. The SRMs and the legs used to be stabilized, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't remember seeing that recently. I think they may have pulled that out for a certain version of the game or something because I haven't seen that recently, and so I've just kind of fallen off of using Crusaders in general. I like their weapon spread, but I dislike their lack of heat dissipation.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't mind mechs that run hot, but the issue with Crusader is before there's any case, they're just a total liability. Like their vulnerability to ammo crits is so bad that simply seeing them in existence like challenges suspension of disbelief, because any game you play, they go up like a Roman candle. It's not, once you get case and case 2, they're fantastic.
Alright, so I seem to have lost sight of your Mongoose, which I'm not super happy about. We can get 8 hexes from him. Well, let's see if maybe something else pops up. In the meantime, we can do something like this, I think. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to advance the gunner to there. Try to get a shot on one of these guys, maybe in the back. Would be nice. Okay, so your foot platoons standing still, it looks like in the woods. What kind of range do these guys have with those lasers? Let me just look at that. Those actually have 369 range, so that is not bad at all. And they have, how many of these support lasers do they fire per turn? Is that like the field cannons or the field artillery or field guns? Sorry.
The non-field artillery infantry is highly abstracted. So each soldier has a weapon, and it like I think like a normal rifle is like 0.52 or 0.53, whatever it is, damage per trooper. An SRM might be like 1.2 damage per trooper. So I think the support lasers are like, I don't know, like 0.5 or 0.6. There's 2 of those per squad, and there's 3 squads in each of those platoons. Okay,
yeah, that was my question, is how many of those lasers are they shooting? Is it 1 per person like rifles, or is it like medium lasers, or it sounds like it's kind of somewhere in between.
It's all the damage is averaged, and it's all rolled into 1. The only thing that matters with infantry platoons is if they have, so you add the damage from all their rifles and the damage from the support weapons. If they've got 1 support weapon, then the range is based upon their rifles. And if they have 2 support weapons per squad, the range is dependent on the support weapons. So all of those platoons have got 2 support weapons per squad, so the range is 3 because of the support lasers. So basically the short version is the damage is down to the rifles, the range is down to the support lasers.
Okay. Well, the really short answer is don't get within 9 hexes of them.
Yeah.
And I see that your locust has chosen violence today. What is his TMM? His TMM is 3. You put a locust within 3 hexes of my King Hippo and you only gave him a movement mod of 3?
Yeah.
I mean, I hope you know what you're doing.
I didn't promise that at the start, but you know.
Because I know that I ran. You've got so that should be 7s? 8s.
I'm terrible with live. See, the thing is, I'm really good at calculating or being aware of target movement modifiers for like VTOLs.
Okay.
Because I've had some nasty experiences with like scout VTOLs just getting smashed. So I'm careful with that. I tend to be, not as reasonably careful with light mechs.
Okay, well, we're about to find out how well it works for you. Yeah, that's a pair of 8s. If either one of these hits, that is really going to hurt.
Yeah.
It does mean I can't shoot my lasers this turn without turning those into 10s, because they're in separate arcs. But for the lulz, if nothing else, I want to see how that works. Then I've got, let's see, 11s on this guy, but I only need to hit with 1 of them to really ruin his day. And then we've got 9s over here, and it's going to be 13s with the flamers and machine guns, yeah. Although, honestly, one thing that I have found, I've caught myself doing in my the Fighting Bulldogs campaign is not reloading my machine guns until they're down to like the last 10 shots. Just on the off chance that if they take an ammo hit when they're down to 10 shots, it won't destroy the mech entirely. So the Locust did hit the King Hippo in the arm with a laser. The King Hippo did miss with both of his autocannons. Lucky you.
You had about the same amount of luck with them as I had with a couple of my mechs in the Hell's Horses game. So it's all evened out.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh. Lark says, good to hear Punch-Out survived 1,000 years into the future to have a character from it be the namesake of a mech. Yeah, that is exactly what I was going for. In the Discord, actually, I had posted a picture of the King Hippo character in reference to the mech. Let's see, Firestarter lands one of his lasers on the APC to the right side. Other than that, no damage this turn. Looks like nobody's building up any heat just yet.
Yeah, those APCs are shockingly poorly armored, but they're literally just... My sort of headspace for that was they're just the movement points for the infantry.
Yeah, and for 100 BV each, I mean, what was it, like 120 or 130 or something? Alright, we have lost the initiative, which we'll be able to sink a little bit, with the gunner at least. Getting over here and trying to close with these foot platoons to ruin their days. And I saw on there that they were all like cyberneticed out and like they've got armor or some such, but I'm about to start shooting plasma at them, and I don't know how much cybernetics are going to help with that.
None of those are cybers. They've got normal word plate infantry kit, so a little bit of armor. They've got no cyberware. These are all, I guess, word plate protectorate militia kind of forces. It's not.
Okay.
This is word plate 3rd Division. If they might have some hidden allies from the Mane Domini, then that might just purely be a rumor. But you haven't seen those yet, so.
I had forgotten the possibility that something might jump out at me, and now I'm curious if you're going to be luring me into some kind of trap or something.
Would I do that to you? Would I?
I mean, I'd hate to discount the possibility. What was it you said, between 0 and 10 hidden units?
Yes, maybe. I forget. I can't remember. My short-term memory loss. Yeah.
Alright, well, for now, I think I know what my next move is going to be. But after that, I hate being in such a reactionary formation and then losing initiative, because it means that I'm then have to act and not react. So, King Hippo advancing towards the objective, slowly but sort of steadily. Question is, what am I going to do with this here Firestarter? Looks like our APCs are falling back. I don't see any infantry where they were. Although I'm not sure if I would, based on where my guys are at. Kind of trying to reinforce and keep my dudes a little bit together so they can cover each other if need be. Anyone gets behind the Firestarter, they're probably in range of the King Hippo's large lasers. Yeah, mod of 5. That's respectable.
Yeah. Hang on, the Hippo that's large lasers and AC 20s, right?
Yes.
So that's medium range 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Did you put him 11 hexes away? Yep.
I hope so.
But that's also medium range from you to my Firestarter. Firestarter is as evasive as he can be, given that he's got the 696 movement profile, which is nowhere near that 28 running speed with the mask. Okay, Mercury is starting to build up some penalties on the mask. Next turn is going to be a 5 if you try to use it again.
Yeah. Hey man, I learned my lesson with the Thresher from the last game. I'm gonna try to be a bit less silly about it. That was slightly embarrassing. Was it the Thresher or no? What was it? I can't remember.
I honestly don't remember. I've fought a few battles against the clans since then. What with the Fighting Bulldogs contract against the Smoke Jaguars. Maybe someone in chat remembers. In the meantime, the King Hippo is looking at 13s on everything that's in range, so not shooting anything with him. The Gunner only has shots on these infantries. And we'll go 1 and 1, or no, that's foolish. We'll go 10 and 10. 8 and 8, but they're not in the open, so they don't take double damage or anything. Yeah, we'll go ahead and try this.
I've got to say, I really like the damage graphics, the icons for.
Oh yeah, where they like start to look more worn out as they get beaten up.
Yeah, like that APC, it's slightly on fire and a bit battered. That's brilliant. I'm really impressed with, and the tile set. I really like the map and the way that looks. They've done a fantastic job with that.
Yeah, I think they've done a really, really good job, especially because there's what, like a dozen or 2 dozen different tile sets to choose from, so you're not actually stuck with anything in particular. I've just chosen the one that I like the most because it's clearest and easiest for me to read. But like, if you want it to look a little prettier or more natural looking or realistic, like, you can do that. Oh. Got your guys with a plasma rifle and some LBX. And I really thought the cluster ammo would do more than 2 damage. But it only killed 1 guy.
Yeah, I keep hearing this. Like, people seem to think that LB10s or LBXs are good against infantry. They're not. They're marginally better than normal autocannons, but they're good against VTOLs. They're potentially good against aerospace and pretty good against vehicles. They're not. I wouldn't usually choose them against infantry.
Well, when I put them on the gunner in particularly, it was largely for weight considerations. I was having enough trouble as it was fitting all the guns on it that I wanted. Because it was initially it was 2 PPCs and 2 autocannon 10s. And that thing didn't have full armor, it didn't have enough heat sinks, it didn't have secondary weapons, and by switching to the LBXs, I freed up a couple of tons, and I was able to have some options with that. Yeah. And there's a couple of other things that I did when I added the higher tech. And I don't recall what they are offhand. I think it was like Endo Steel freed up some tonnage as well.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I LBX autocannons are some of my favourite weapons, but it's just
not so much against
they're
infantry.
Quite flexible, multi-purpose, but they're not so much the anti-infantry stuff or the anti-battle armor that people say. I mean, they've got a little bit of extra accuracy, I suppose, which is kind of that's quite nice. They're not anywhere close to plasma rifles when it comes to anti-combined arms stuff.
Yeah, I was just hoping to kill more than 1 guy. I mean, like, even 2 guys would have been happy. I know that infantry can be hard to kill if you're not using the right tool for the job, but, like, I don't know. it is still just a little disappointing.
Yeah.
All right, King Hippo continuing his advance, 2 hexes per turn. That said, he is in a 22 hex, so 11 turns from now he'll be at the edge of the map. And he is actually only about 12 hexes from the objective, although crossing this river is going to be an ordeal.
Does he not jump?
No, not the King Hippo. Lark says his strategy is to just spend 10 turns stomping on each guy individually.
Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, it's time consuming, but it works. Sin's got to make it feel personal. Having flashbacks to the Great Death Legion, real quick. When what was it? The Marauder stepping on Grayson's dad's Phoenix Hawk at the end of the first chapter.
Well enough, but yeah.
At least I remember him stepping on it. I remember the description being that Grayson was watching the screens as the Marauder loomed over the prone Phoenix Hawk, but I don't remember if he actually stepped on him or if he just blew him away. I just remembered something else about that book that I think is kind of laughable in the context of the board game. And that was when Grayson had cornered Lori's Locust in an alleyway with an Inferno SRM. And I'm like, a Locust has 10 heat sinks. It's building up tops 8 points of heat a turn, depending on the variant. An Inferno SRM, a man-portable Inferno SRM, is not going to scare me in that situation. Then again, I remember that she had a history with fire, so that was probably a big part of it. But consistently in that book, it did describe people building up heat in ways that I thought was a little counter to the way the rules are portrayed.
Yeah, I kind of get what they were trying to, what he was trying to aim for, and I think it was probably one of the briefs for the story was like start with nothing, and then end up with
a full-fledged lance.
So he had to try and find some edge cases or strange ways of ended up winning against the odds and ended up with what he ended up with, which is if you were playing a MechWarrior campaign and that happened to you and you got to the position that he was in, it would be hard to suspend disbelief, considering ending up being the lord of the planet, having your own manufacturing, being the first in the Innisphere to make battle armor, or well, at least medium battle armor.
Yeah, I mean, I understand liberties have to be taken for the sake of the story, and I agree with that. There were some scenes that after having played as much BattleTech as I have, that I'm like, that Locust or that Stinger or that Wasp must have some of its heat sinks critted out already if it's already building up this much heat.
Yeah, and that's fair enough, because, third succession war, most mechs are supposed to have some existing damage. Existing crits.
Yeah, especially in the time.
It's just about Sure, just suspending disbelief and stuff.
But for all that, they were really good books. I enjoyed the heck out of them, and it's a big part of why I play BattleTech today.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, like the actual mech combat, I like that in the game, but in the novels, it's not so much of a thing. It's more, my favourite moments are the character interactions. The bit where Hans Fabian is getting married to Melissa, and where it's on Terra, and it's the bit where Jamie Wolf walks up to Takashi Kurita and throws down Minobu Kurita's, what's his name? No, Minobu Tetsura's swords on the ground, and in fluent Japanese just cusses him out. And bits like that, fantastic.
Lark has made the comment that his first BattleTech related material was the cartoon, and for that I sympathize. The cartoon, I would rather have gotten into it with like the MechWarrior video games than the cartoon, personally. That's just me, I guess. But I need to watch the cartoon all the way through because I haven't yet.
No, don't do it.
Don't. It's not worth it.
I don't think so. I mean, again, it's like the stuff with the clans is more poignant once you understand the background of the game. Like, it's one of the reasons why, like, Wolves on the Border is one of the good novels to start with, because you don't know who Wolves Dragoons are. If you're a new player or a new reader, and then some of the weird stuff that happens and some of the weird words they use, and then you read the Warrior trilogy, and then you read the Blood of Kerensky trilogy, and it's like suddenly there's these weird fuckers from outside the periphery using the same words that Wolves Dragoons use, and you're going, hang on a minute, what's going on here? Because it's like in Wolves on the Border, I'm pretty sure some of the Wolves Dragoons guys do like clan-based honor duel, like they're basically Zellbriggen on Misery, but it's not made obvious or not super obvious unless you already know what's going on.
Sorry, I'm just picking my targets right now. I feel like I've got pretty good odds there. I don't know if it's worth building up the heat for another shot. I am taking one pot shot at the guy who left himself out in the open, though. And then over here we've got 9s and 13s, but I'm going to take them anyway just to unload the bins. Varank says he watched the cartoon as an adult and it wasn't that bad. He says, I would have watched dozens of seasons of it if they would have made it, but then again, I like Adam West Batman. Hey, I'm also a big fan of Adam West as Batman. It's super campy, but a lot of fun. The cartoon, yeah, I can see the similarity there, where there's that campiness to it.
The Adam West Batman is quite charming, but it establishes its own rules and it follows them. Whereas the cartoon, if it was nothing but the cartoon, it would be fine. But if you've got any preconceptions about, like, if you've read any of the novels and then you watch the cartoon, it's a totally different flavour and theme. It's like, oh yeah, they're flying around and they meet Victor Shinodavian on a dropship, and he's the random guest of the week, and then the next week they meet someone else, and then it's a little bit silly.
Well, I've only ever watched the first episode of the cartoon, so I'm not one to criticize, but my introduction to the clans was MechWarrior 2, followed by MechWarrior 2 Ghost Bear, and then the Jade Phoenix trilogy, which helped explain a lot of the language that they use, like Kiaf and Bachal and all of that.
Yeah.
Lark says, but they made one mistake, invading my planet.
Oh, God. Oh,
that's...
God. Oh.
Looks like a bunch of 11s and 12s missing here, and a 10. Gunner landing one of his plasma rifles on the platoon, dealing a total of 9 damage, but only killing 5 guys, looks like. Or no, from 18. Okay, yeah. So they had 18 guys at the beginning of the round, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, and yeah, they took 4 damage. Would have been 8 down to 4. Would have been 8 down to 4. Would have been 1 stays 1. They're down to 9 guys. That stray shot.
Sorry, the Waterblade platoons are supposed to be 36 guys. But you can't do that in MegaMek, so I just put them into 2 of 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, for some reason I was misremembering what I had targeted. I was thinking I'd hit the one that was already hit, and I was like, well, why would I do that? That's probably just overkill. And they're already at partial strength, so they're not firing all of their lasers. And the ones that did fire apparently have missed. Firestarter on the Commando, landing a couple of glancing blows to the left leg and torso. I forgot the Commando has low profile. So I really need to hit him squarely if I'm going to do much damage at all. And yeah, the King Hippo missing the APC on 11s. I was kind of hoping to kill it just for the glory. Mongoose is at 1 heat, Gunner is at 2 heat, everyone else appears to still be running cool. And we have lost the initiative. Well, I'm pretty sure I know who I'm moving first. Fucking Hippo charge. I understand real life hippos are actually quite scary and dangerous. The only ones I've ever seen were in a zoo, so I don't know.
They're very territorial, yeah. They're very powerful.
I've seen pictures of them fighting, and it does look absolutely frightening.
Yeah, they're so fast as well.
Like a giant toothy cow or something.
Yeah. I mean, if you get close up to just cows, they're not,
Lark says hippos are actually super dangerous. In terms of human kill counts, they are among the highest. Higher than...
They're the most... Yeah, if this is one of these silly sort of things, like in like quiz things, it's like, what's the most deadly animal in Africa? And it is the hippo, based upon number of fatalities. That's kind of, it's not totally ingenuous, but
kind of counterintuitive, if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, if you stay away from them and you don't bother them, it's fine. Whereas if you've got a pack of hungry lions, even if you leave them alone, if they're hungry and they see you, it might not be terribly fun at that point.
Alright, do we think we're going to wrap this up in the next 30 minutes or so? Because honestly, aside from your 2 infantry squads being down to about half strength, we haven't really done much damage so far. Or is this going to be another 2-part episode, do you think?
I'm not sure. I mean... Let's see what happens this round and next round, and then we'll see. It's.
Okay.
I mean, neither of us have got objective control, so.
No, I have absolutely abandoned my objective. All 3 of my guys are advancing. So honestly, if you were so inclined, you could probably send that Locust down there and win this in 2 rounds. Not that I should be putting thoughts like that into your head.
Well, I mean,
28 hexes of running, Jesus.
Yeah.
Even on a 50 by 50 map, that's clearing the map in 2 turns with hexes to spare.
You know, it's as fast as a very slow aerospace fighter.
I mean, I thought a slow aerospace fighter was like 16 or 24.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's 16 per point of thrust, but I was being silly, but yeah, you get what
I
you
was
get.
thinking it was 8, so I guess I was mistaken about that. But
8 is the turn mode. They have to go 8 before they can turn.
Okay, that's the I don't play with a lot of aerospace. I don't know if you knew that about me.
No, I don't either. This is one of these things where I've been practicing with it. So I was thinking in the next game that we play, I was thinking maybe a slightly larger scale game with maybe more combined arms, maybe a little bit of aerospace, a little bit of artillery. Maybe you could experiment with some battle armor and some infantry if you felt like it. Kind of mix, you know, bit of a mix kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm always kind of hesitant to use infantry in games like this in anything other than a defensive role just because of their lack of speed. But I guess once you put them on APCs, you can drop them off pretty much anywhere a mech could go.
Or VTOLs.
Ooh, hadn't thought of that. Yeah, that would definitely have to be a 2-part episode, though. I don't see us getting through that much. Because, I mean, even if we each only had, 1 or 2 VTOLs, 2 or 3 squads of infantry, couple of mechs, that's still getting up into the 8, 9, 10 unit count area. So each turn is going to take a little while.
I was thinking full sort of reinforced company against reinforced company, so a much larger scale.
Oof. That would definitely be like a multi-session kind of thing.
That would be a solid 2 sessions, I think. Yeah, I mean, there's more firepower, so stuff dies quicker. So I think that the number of sessions would be dependent upon the size of the map and the terrain, maybe. But it was something I was kind of just throwing around, thinking about, considering how to persuade you. So yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, that could be a lot of fun. It would be a bit of an investment. Oh, it's my turn to move. Sorry. Yeah, it would be something that we would have to commit to and invest in, but I am definitely down to do that at some point. Try to get some back shots on this stinger. It could be a lot of fun, or if you want to do something that kind of maybe a little out of the ordinary but wouldn't take as long, we could set up our orders of battle and then let Princess duke it out in a matter of minutes.
I mean, we could do that anyway. I'm not sure I'd trust Princess.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
Anyone who trusts Princess is a fool. But as long as we have equal levels of distrust, and obviously, I mean, that would be something that we would just do for a laugh. It wouldn't be like a serious game or anything like that. Okay, so it looks like your commando is going to have left side shots on my fire starter. My fire starter is going to have back shots on the stinger. Mercury spent a turn cooling off his mask, so he's good to go. Alright, we've got a long range at a +6 is a 13, so that's not happening. That's going to be a 14, but over here we've got a medium range on a 5, so that's a 10. We'll take all 3 of those. Oh, shoot. Yeah, so the King Hippo apparently is able to torso twist.
Yeah, fine, whatever. No bother.
I mean, I don't want to commit to this because it's not what we had agreed to, but I mean,
do whatever you want to do. It's absolutely fine. This is not. this is not some kind of. I'm very happy to be playing the game against a human being. It's all it's all good fun.
Also, real quick, why does the King Hippo even have line of sight to your mongoose? He shouldn't be able to see through that hex. He's at -2 elevation. This hex is elevation 0. But I'm clearly firing through that hex.
Which one?
From 3820, where the King Hippo is, to 3226, where your mongoose is. He's firing through hex 3721, and I don't think he should be able to do that. That's a 2 level difference that he's shooting through. That should be total cover, even to a higher elevation. Right?
I've got the option turned on for diagramming line of sight, so it actually should draw a line between the actual positions based on the comparative. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you can see it, it's probably fine.
I guess I was mistaken about how diagramming line of sight works, because I didn't think that was... oh, those guys are harder to hit because... Sorry, I went on to a different target. Now I'm looking at these infantry that are dug in. So they're not actually in the open, are they? But then I've got 9s over here.
They are in the open, but they don't count as it because they're dug in. Yeah.
Right. And they're actually even harder to hit than the guys who are in the woods, even though I'm showing a +2 indicator on their hex and a +3 for the guys in the woods. They're actually as hard to hit as the commando, who's showing a +4 mod on his hex. But with that said, I feel like the infantry is probably less of a threat than the commando. So what I'm going to do, I'll fire a cluster for last. Just maybe get some crits in on that if we get lucky. And then you've got 10s and 14s. Alright, so the King Hippo lands a large laser on the Mongoose's arm, but not internal, not quite. Wasp missing the King Hippo on a 10. Commando needing 11s, missing the Firestarter with a medium laser and both SRM4s. Mongoose missing the King Hippo on 11s and 10s. Infantry needing 9s and 7s on the Gunner, landing 4 points to the left leg. Gunner landing hits on the Commando. It looks like a glancing blow to the right leg with a plasma rifle, and a solid hit to the center torso with the other one, and that's going to be an 11 heat increase on him. And then only 3 pellets from the LBX, and none of them to the center torso, which is kind of a shame. Firestarter getting the stinger in the middle of the back with a medium laser, critting out the gyro. That might as well be a kill. With the cramped cockpit, he's going to need a 9 or better to stand up, and a 9 or better to not make a consciousness check every time he tries.
Yeah, I don't think the Stinger has got a cramped cockpit.
I saw the modifier for it. I thought...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you click on round 11 and go all the way down...
Yeah, I'll check it. Sorry, it's just... that. When I think cramped cockpit, I think, Wolverine or, Yeah, that's fine.
Who else has a cramped cockpit? It's not just the Wolverine, it's... Locust has a cramped cockpit.
One of Celestial Omni-Mechs have got... that's small cockpits, but yeah.
Yeah, small cockpit is a piece of equipment. A cramped cockpit is a quirk. So that could be what's throwing it off. I feel like there's probably a lot of overlap there, but I don't know the lists well enough to be sure. And you have 1 initiative for this round. And I just saw a bunch of Nighthawk PAL Mark 21s activating. Oh, that looks scary. Those are 6 troopers per squad. It looks like each one has like 10 armor or so. No, 3 armor. Okay. I was just looking at the little pop-up, and I know each one of those little green squares represents 10 points of armor. I guess it rounds up. Alright. King Hippo, gonna Hippo.
FK bio, like 2 minutes. All right.
Do it. What is this D here? Let me check out these stats on this guy. Nighthawk power armor light, I'm guessing. They jump 3, 4, 5, 3 points each. That might be something worth using LBXs on. And they have laser rifles with a range of 2, 4, 6. They also have battle armor manipulators in both arms, single hex ECM, jump jets, extended life support, stealth armor. Okay. So those guys are probably going to be really hard to hit with that stealth armor.
Okay, I'm back, sorry.
Oh, no, it's all good. I was just checking out the stats on these Nighthawk power armors.
Okay.
That stealth armor gives them just a flat +1 to be targeted, right? On top of, I think, a +1 for being power armor, and
yeah, it's +1 for battle armor, but it's all. I think it's stealth armor is based on range.
Okay.
I can't, and it generally varies. I can't, like, you've got basic, standard, and advanced stealth armor, and like it's like some of them give them a modifier based upon the range. So it might be like +1 at medium range, +2 at long range.
Okay. So they're easier to kill as you get closer, but they're also more dangerous. Yeah. Those they do have. If I can get that out of the way. Yeah, this laser rifle that does 0.93 damage per trooper. So they're maxing out at 5 points with that, I believe, because it doesn't round up, does it? I don't know. 5 or 6.
No, it rounds to the
nearest.
It'll be 1. For that, it's 1 point for each of those guys.
Okay.
It's the same rifle that the other infantry are using. Standard Starly issue.
Alright, so those guys are distinctly threatening. I wonder. Well, I mean, I've got something for that. I've actually got 2 somethings specifically for that. So yeah, I think he's gonna fall back just a little bit, just so he's not in short range of all those guns. Oh, that's cluttered from if I zoom out too far. Okay, so Locust over here being brave again.
Yep.
It's a shame I can't flip one arm. Shoot infantry with the left.
Yeah.
Shoot infantry with the left arm, flip the right arm, and shoot the Locust. I mean, I'm sure there would be like an insane difficulty modifier, but I mean, it would be fun to try. If we were doing this at an actual table on, a paper map or whatever, and you wanted to do that, and I was DMing or whatever, I would be like, sure, I don't see any reason not to. It's not like your arms are linked to each other. But I would probably institute either a +2 or a +3 targeting penalty for the secondary target.
Yeah.
Because I know that if you've got your primary target in your front arc and your secondary target is in your side arcs, or if you're using a rear mounted weapon, that's a +2. But flipping one arm but not the other, I feel like just giving it a +2 doesn't quite cover the situation. Or maybe I'm just being especially harsh.
I mean, you know, that's the best thing about actually playing in person on a map. You get to choose and talk about those sort of things and see how it works.
So let's see, these guys haven't moved yet. They could potentially move into any of these hexes. Oh my goodness, your stinger actually got up. Did he just get lucky, or?
Careful stand.
Ah, that brings it down to what, a 7?
Yeah, probably. I mean, yeah, not moving is not ideal.
I mean, honestly, depending on which way you were facing, I was probably about to discount him as a threat entirely. I was half expecting you to eject him or something, but again, that's because I'm used to playing campaign rules. Speaking of which, campaign rules, I was seriously about to sacrifice the fire starter. I was about to have him jump into the middle of that mess and just start flaming things, but I don't.
That sounds like a fantastic idea.
It's too late now.
Especially try the flamer on the cyborgs. That would be great.
Really? Are they like immune to it or something?
No, the one. Oh god, which unit is it? Well, I've got the MD rifle platoon. That's I call that the Mane Domini rifle platoon. They're cyborg. They've got the what is it called? Artificial pain shunt. It's just half damage from flamers.
Oh.
Nothing too exotic. I mean, a flamer is still going to be.
That's the only effect of the artificial pain shunt is half damage from flamers. It doesn't affect like bullet wounds or anything like that.
No, I believe if morale rules were implemented, it would affect morale. They just they're like a psychosis. They're sort of disconnected from reality. They don't feel any pain. They don't care about morale. So, I mean, I guess there is that aspect, but no, there's no other effects. A lot of the sideway stuff it doesn't do very much, but it's kind of good for flavor.
Right. And the cybernetic communications implant and sensory implants, they've got infrared, electromagnetic, laser, telescopic eyes. That's pretty nuts.
So I tested this earlier. The communication thing does nothing. I was going to use the enhanced communication thing, which allows them to function as a node in a C3I thing. That's not implemented in MegaMek. Basically, what they've got is a -1 to hit and a 2-hex. What do you call it? Beagle active probe. So it's basically
okay.
It's an almost minimal effect, and it's just for flavor. I just thought I may as well. These are word of Blake. I may as well have at least one Mane Domino unit, even if it's just a token thing.
Yeah, and they've got gunnery 4, anti-mech 6. There are 18 of them. So, okay. This was the one that you were talking about. They normally come in squads of 36, so you split them in half.
All word of Blake infantry should come in squads of 36. So all of these support laser platoons. There are 4 platoons, but really it's just 2.
Okay.
It doesn't really make any difference whatsoever. Purely fluff.
Alright. Stinger needs 5 for base piloting, plus 3 for the gyro, 9 for the cramped cockpit, 7 for the stand, or for the careful stand. So yeah, he got his 9, and he stood up all right, but he is gonna be in a world of hurt if he has to make another check.
Yeah. No, I never realised that Stingers had a cramped cockpit. That's interesting.
So we've got 8s on the Wasp with the King Hippo, or we've got 8s on the Mercury. Getting all close to me again.
Yep.
So then we've got 10s on the Locust over here. We've got 8s there, 10s, 11s, 10s, 9s, 10s. Oh. Okay, so the only thing that looks like better than 9 is this 8 on the Mani Domine rifle platoon. So, I mean, I'm going to take the shot at the best target I've got. Because why wouldn't I? And that's going to be 2 plasma rifles at your hotshot infantry guys.
Yep.
We've got 11s and 11s over here. We've got 12s there. And that's a 13. So very, very unlikely to hit. Wait, is that? Oh, that's in the side arc of the Stinger. I was looking at the Stinger, maybe I've got a back shot on him, but that is a left side shot. So in lieu of that, I will go for the Commando, who has at least an open chest. So maybe I'll get lucky and do something with that. Locust at the gunner into the sitter torso rear with an ER medium laser down to 9 armor there. Mercury missing on 7s and 11s. I think 7 is the best target number I've seen all match.
Yeah.
And you still managed to miss. King Hippo landing a hit on the Mercury into the right torso, transferring into the center torso, critting out his mask, his engine twice. Okay, I was gonna say, how did I hit the right torso with 2 engine crits and then blow off the right torso and you've still got an engine? But those are center torso engine crits. But still, that's that is going to be very dire for your heat buildup since you don't have double heat sinks in this thing.
Yeah.
So you're just going to keep going up and up and up until you shut down. So that is 2 of your mechs essentially crippled and in what would be forced withdrawal if we were playing with forced withdrawal rules. Wasp landing a light PPC on the King Hippo's center torso, leaving me with 38 armor remaining and leaving me feeling rather invulnerable right now. The Seterim battle armor missing the gunner with their recoilless rifle, but landing 12 looks like SRMs all over the place. Leg, torso, other leg, or same leg, other torso, arm, torso, and head. Linfeld Grand takes a point of damage but stays conscious. Support laser platoon missing, both of them. The gunner landing some plasma rifle shots on the infantry platoon, killing looks like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 of them. So that is the entire squad dead.
Yep. See, plasma rifles work.
Yeah, they really do. I can't think of any other weapon that would kill 18 infantry in one hit, except for like a flamer. Even a machine gun would be hard to
Certainly not at that range.
Certainly not, no. So yeah.
I mean, maybe artillery. I mean, artillery would do it. Artillery cannon. Maybe a mech mortar if it hit. But yeah, no, they're fantastic weapons.
Oh, speaking of artillery, the Fighting Bulldogs recently crossed into 3050, so I spent probably an hour the other night just ordering a bunch of stuff that had just become available now that we're officially in the clan invasion era. And one of the things that I ordered was flechette ammunition for the Long Tom, and I'm beginning to wonder,
yes.
What?
Yeah, sorry, go on.
I'm just wondering if maybe that was a bit excessive, because I feel like regular long tom ammo would probably be just as effective.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, yeah.
Firestarter missing with everything. Mercury stays standing. Gunner also does, even though they both took 20 plus damage. So that's cool. No melee around. Gunner is at 3 heat. Mercury is at 10. And we do have our first unit actual kill of the match with that Mene Domini infantry being eliminated. We have lost the initiative going into round 13, it looked like. And it is coming up on 8 o'clock. So we are, I'm guessing we're at least a couple of rounds away from anybody winning this. Seeing as how...
If you want, we can save it here, do another round, whatever you like.
Let's go ahead and finish round 13, or whichever round we just started, and then be prepared to save it and pack it up and pick it up next week.
Yeah, that sounds fine. Yeah, that's cool.
Alright, one more round. And it is my turn to move. We're going to start, I think... I mean, it does kind of leave my back open a little bit, but again, I've got, what, like 20 points of armor on my back? 9 and 15, so a respectable amount. It's going to take more than a medium laser or two to get through that. And Lark has pointed out that flechette artillery shells are a real thing, and I'll bet they're more effective against infantry than actual artillery, but my question is it worth the investment? Because if a regular artillery shell is likely to kill the entire unit, how much is it worth investing in being extra sure of killing every single last thing in that hex,
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Alright, so that was Mercury is having heat problems, Stinger with his gyro damage, Commando has an open chest if I recall correctly, yeah. The Wasp over there taking cover behind a hill. And all of these infantry that I need to either go over, under, around, or through. Under's not an option. Through doesn't look too attractive either. Over would be an option if I had more jump jets. I want to do this. If I go here, I could post up for a couple rounds and just lay down fire. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I may have gotten a little out of hand when I was ordering all of that ammunition for the Fighting Bulldogs. I was ordering like 10 tons of each kind of specialty ammunition for each kind of weapon. That may have been a bit much.
I mean, that's reasonable. I mean, like 10 tons of ammo, it can, if you're using it, it can disappear pretty quickly.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is I was just blanket buying 10 tons of everything just in case that was the one I needed to use, or wanted to use. So, like, I don't know how long it's going to take me to go through 10 tons of smoke LRM-15 ammo. Because most of my LRM launchers are 20s and 5s. Not so much the 10s. Why? I don't know why LRM-10s suck so much. I mean, I know how they suck. I just don't know why. Like,
well, I mean...
They should weigh half a ton less.
They suck a little bit. I mean, compared to the others, they're slightly less efficient. It's not it's not a massive difference. And I believe there is an option in Mech HQ where you can interchange. You know, if you've got LRM 15 ammo,
Yeah, I do.
you can replenish LRM 10 ammo with that. So
I do normally play where LRMs are LRMs. They're not limited to 5, 10, 15, or 20 as far as the ammunition. I'm talking about the launcher. I try to stay away from LRM 10 launchers as much as possible because you're better off with 2 LRM 5s. Almost as a rule. It weighs a ton less, has the same heat, and just about the same damage. It's like, why would you put an LRM-10 on anything under those conditions?
yeah, again, it probably makes very minimal difference in the crit spaces. You know. LRMs generally are, you know, for the right purpose, LRMs are the weapon to use, or they're not. And if they are, then if it's an LRM 5 or LRM 10 or LRM 20, it doesn't really make a difference.
I mean, you're not wrong. It bothers me that there is that lack of symmetry there with the 10s not being the right weight to be in line with all of the others. I mean, I guess what it actually is that the 10 or the 5 and the 15 weigh half a ton less than they should, but if you just compare the 5 to the 10, it looks like the 10 weighs a ton extra, which
I mean, is there an issue with crit slots? Or is it pretty much it?
I think LRMs are just a straight 1 crit per 5 tubes, regardless of what size launcher you're using. Or maybe I've got that wrong. Maybe the larger ones do take up more, because an LRM 20 is 6 heat, 10 tons. I want to say 4 crits. Alright, let's see if we can knock this stinger down again. Oh shit, there's a mongoose there. Purifier, Adaptive Battle Armor. There are some really interesting names for these guys. I'm guessing the Severim is somehow related to the word Sephirim, which is, you know, a kind of angel. It just seems like their kind of thing.
That's very possible. I mean, I believe so. The Severim battle armor, that's a much later battle armor that's used by the Mano Domini, so the rather psychotic or fanatical cyber guys. The Purifier is the bog standard vanilla flavored Word of Blade battle armor. You know, starts off in the 3060s or 3070s, and it's still soldiering on in the 3140s, used by various different people. It's not too exotic.
All right.
The thing with the Mano Domini is there are a series of mechs called I can't remember what they're called.
Celestials, I think.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. And obviously they're all named after angels. You know, and you've got like I think it's 4 different Omni-Mechs and 4 or 5 different battle armor, which are all named after the kind of thing that you're talking about. Yeah.
Real quick, Varenk in the chat has confirmed that LRM launchers do follow a 1, 2, 3, 4 crit slot pattern. So the LRM 20 is 4 crits. So I wasn't sure if that was just for the clan or if the Inner Sphere was maybe more, because I know the clan's PPC and large lasers take up fewer crit slots. But yeah, it just, I don't know. I feel like either the LRM 5 and the 15 should weigh a half ton more, or the LRM 10 should weigh a ton less. Either way, it just doesn't seem fair to the 10.
Although, is it different when it's single heat sinks?
The 15 and the 20 are each less heat than would be on a straight line curve, but the 10 is on that curve. It doesn't get a break at all. It doesn't get a break in tonnage, it doesn't get a break in heat, and every other launcher gets a break in something. So we've got 10s on the set rim, we've got 12s on the Nighthawk, 9s there, 10. Or we could 13s. Woof. Nope. That's what happens when you jump. And then actually, yeah, I don't see anything better than 9s anywhere. So we'll try to maybe finish off one of these platoons here. Ooh, that's more heat than I intended. Yeah, that's it's gonna be just the plasmas. Dirty clanners pretending they're better than everyone else, says Lark. I mean, they
see. The thing is, the clanners, you've got to give them the benefit of the doubt because they actually believe that they are. They actually have the courage of their convictions. They may or may not be correct, but they're not lying. Which, well.
Alright, King Hippo getting a lucky crit on the Wasp, or lucky hit. Needed an 11 and also had a 50% cover. Manages to clear both of those hurdles, 8 damage to the right torso, critting out the jump jet and an engine. And this does have double heat sinks, so that's less critical than it is with the, was it the Mercury? Commando missing the fire starter on 10s, Mongoose missing the fire starter on 8s and 12s. Laser platoon missing the gunner returning fire at that same laser platoon, does manage to kill 8 of them but leaves 2 of them alive, sadly. And I say sadly, not for them, I'm sure. Firestarter firing on the Stinger on 8s with everything, hits the left arm for 5, left torso, right torso for 2 each, right arm with the machine gun, but no center torso. I was hoping for another gyro crit. Did not happen. But that does also still leave, maybe we can kick him on a 7. I don't normally take that kind of chance, but I'm all or nothing right now. Kick him in the leg. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, needs a 10 to stay standing, gets an 11. That Stinger is so freaking lucky. He should have gone down. He should have gone down so hard.
Yeah.
Alright, so do we want to save it here at the end of round 13?
Yeah, that sounds good, yeah.
Alright, I am saving locally. And I assume you're also going to be saving locally or on the server, or...
Yes. Yeah.
Rank says, thanks for the game. Yeah, it's been my pleasure. I'm sure it's been Gribbly's pleasure at all, as well.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Thanks for watching. Yeah, it's good good game.
It's been a lot of fun, and looking forward. Do you think we'll be finishing this next week, or will I be playing as the Challenger Deep, defending their base next week? Either one, honestly, is fine with me.
I can do it. I mean, whatever, like, I could, if you wanted to do it tomorrow, I can either do it earlier or later. If you want to do it next week, we can do it next week, or, whatever you like. No bother.
That actually is an option I had not considered. We could preempt my HBS stream for tomorrow and finish this when I would normally be doing that. Alternately,
I mean, this can't go for many more. This is
yeah,
going to be over in 3 or 4 rounds, right? Probably.
I would say it's likely. I am having a bit of a hard time hitting your infantry, and honestly, everything. Those lights are just super evasive. But yeah, I would say we're definitely, almost definitely, at or past the halfway point, time-wise, and definitely past the halfway point round-wise.
Yeah, I mean, time-wise, this is a much quicker game than both of the others, I think. What time did we start?
We started.
How long did we play for?
We started about. I've got 2 hours and 10 minutes ago, roughly. Both of our other
this
games.
This has been a really quick game so far. Yeah.
Both of our other games ran about 4 hours. So if this game.
Yeah, the clan one was long. Yeah.
All right. Well, so we've got our game saved. We're wrapping it up. We're ready to say thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate you joining us. Oh, I forgot. I'm looking at my stream right now. There was a new follow, but I will go ahead and shout him out at the beginning of my next stream. So with that, everybody, thank you and good night. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you next time.